There's 1 month left in the baseball season. The Royals are 3 games back the wild card spot. They bring up some reinforcements here coming up here, that we'll talk about. They're going to be added to the roster. We'll see what they got. We'll talk about it all right now live on One Row Away. We're back at it here on Kansas City Sports Network. I'm Joel Penfield. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Make sure to like, rate, subscribe, review on all platforms. Hit those notification bells so you know when these episodes go up. We are live on a Sunday night, as always. I'm going to try and get this done as quickly as I can so myself and everybody else listening or watching can get back to watching the second half of Miami Notre Dame. Because I am on the under, and I do want to pay attention to the end of that one. This show, as always, brought to you by Emprise Bank, member FDIC, our partners impossible here at Kansas City Sports. I'm working on this show, and be sure to check out Kansas City Strength and Conditioning as well. If you have a baseball or softball player in the area that needs a place to train as we're heading into fall ball in the winter, it's a good place to get better for the 26th season if that's what they're into. Cheers to everybody Sunday night. I have some spotted cow from New Glarus. My mom was up visiting her parents up in northern Minnesota, popped over to Wisconsin for me and got me some of the greatest beer on the planet. If you know, you know. So the Royals lose 2-3 against the Detroit Tigers this weekend. They win the middle game on Wednesday. Bobby Witt Jr. hits a big 2-run homer, ends it late. They lose on Monday after kind of a hot start, or on Friday. And then Tarek Skubal blanked him. Hey, Chris, doing both, watching us live and watching college football. It's great. Tarek Skubal blanked him today. I mean, it's Tarek Skubal. Like, he's really, really good. I know the Royals have kind of had his number at times, but the guy's great. Like, he really is. So I didn't have real high expectations from that perspective for them to find a way to win the series. I just want to see them get a win. You go 4-8 against Detroit. Maybe there's some narratives that can go from that. So I'm just going to talk about a couple different things from the weekend. Not do kind of the game-by-game thing, because the back half of this, talk about the roster moves that were made and, what that looks like over the next month. We head into the last month of the year and kind of the sprint to the finish here that this team is headed towards. So Friday, you lose the game 5. I think it was 5-3. I don't know. I should say that more definitively. I know you guys expect better of me from that regard, but I did not have it pulled up when I looked at it. 5-3 is what I thought. And it was another start where it was Seth Lugo trying to figure out, okay, is he going to get it? Is he going to figure it out? Is he going to get it turned around? Is he going to go back to the pitcher that we've seen for most of his time in Kansas City, right? And he doesn't get into the 4th inning, or he doesn't get through the 4th, scatters 8 hits, walks 4, strikes out 5. We haven't really seen the strikeout stuff from him recently. So that was like, if you want to take one positive away, like he was able to get that. But he still threw 85 pitches in 3 1/3, gave up 4 earned, traffic all over the place. I think the bases were loaded in each of the first 2 innings. He Houdini acted his way out of the first after getting the first 2 outs with relative ease, loads the bases with 2 outs, gets out of it, and then 2 outs again, loads it again in the 2nd inning, and gives up 2 runs, and then and then ends up giving up the 2-run double to Riley Green, and that basically ended his day. Just another outing where just the command is not crisp. It's not like the velocity's down. Like I keep trying to look for there's enough data out here now that we kind of know, like, okay, he's hurt, right? Like, you see the arm angle drop, spin rates down, velocity's down. Like, you can just kind of see some of the signs of it, right? There really hasn't been much of that relative to what you see from other pitchers. It's a lot of kind of all over the place. Like, his velocity's kind of all over the place. The mechanics are weird. Like, the arm slots all over the place, which is a sign that he's fatigued. Yeah, it's not like it, because if it was down all over, I'd be worried that's a shoulder, that's an elbow, something's wrong. But it's like he's just fighting his mechanics because he's just like fatigued, right? Like he's put a lot of mileage on for years where, he was a reliever for, the most of his career. And this is maybe the other side of the coin from the argument that Josh and I made when the signing was made before the 2024 season. Well, that you're getting a guy that, yes, he's 34 and you're signing him to this deal, but he really isn't a 34-year-old pitcher when you think about like the mileage on his arm, right? The counter to that now is, well, he's probably pitching more like a 35-year-old now because he's thrown 146 in the third, 206 and 2/3, and 145 in the third in 3 straight years when he hadn't done that at any point in his career to this point. And maybe all those innings have just kind of caught up to him. This is not me trying to have some sort of referendum on the contract extension. This is not me trying to renege on anything Seth Lugo has done to this point in his career. Like, that is far from the case, right? What I will say right now, for the position the Royals are in and what they are trying to accomplish, sending him out there every 5th day is an untenable situation right now. Like they have to find a way to skip a start, give him some rest, something, because sending him out there every 5th day, from what we've seen these last 5+ starts, it'd be futile because we kind of know what we're going to get. Like, he had the one start mix in there, I think it was against the Rangers, where he went 6 innings, 1 run, and he pitched well. And it's like, okay, maybe he's back on the right track. And it's just not the case. He had a stretch like this last year, but he was able to bounce back at the end of August and beginning of September. We haven't seen that yet. The pitch inefficiency, the lack of command from a guy that really has to be around the corners of the zone, because when he's in the middle with 92, 89, 92, you're going to get crushed. So I don't know what they're going to do. I do think there is maybe a spot where they're bringing up Luinder Avila. He's one of the guys that's being called up per the Royals. And you give Luinder Avila that spot, that start in Lugo's place at the beginning of this week against the Angels. That, to me, is at least one solution. And this is not Phantom IL him. This is not just outright be done, It's not any of that, because if the Royals want to get anywhere, they need Seth Lugo. But if you're going to get this version of Seth Lugo, you're not going anywhere, right? Like, I do think he is that integral to this pitching staff and this roster. But one start of just, hey, man, take a rest, that can be a lot. That can do a number for guys. Like, just having that extra time and that extra just little bit, okay, reset mentally, physically, and then come back and we'll see what you have at the end of the year. And then we can kind of for 26 and beyond. This is not me trying to write off Seth Lugo, but I do think for what this team needs from him and what they need otherwise, I mean, it's untenable. They have to find a way to give him some rest, or I don't know what's going to happen, but it could continue to sour people on him when he has built up so much goodwill with this organization, with this fan base for a year plus. I don't want people to swing it in the other directions now because he has a bad 2 months. Really need him most. Going to the game on Saturday, couple of cool stats from those. Obviously, in Major League history with 20 home runs and 30 stolen bases in his first 2 seasons. I mean, that's when you think about the amount of guys that kind of have that power speed combination. That is a significant mark in history for him, and just another in a long line that I'm sure we may see 20 and 30 in 5 years, and then he's just going to kind of keep being that type of player. It's significant because it's just, you don't see many guys like that in the history of baseball and even currently in the game that can accomplish these types of things. Michael Garcia hit a home run, his 15th of the year, early on in that game off of Jack Flaherty. And he became the first primary third baseman in franchise history to have 15 homers and 20 stolen bases in a season, which sounds crazy when you think about George Brett. But George Brett did have 20 stolen base seasons, but he never had the 15 homer season to go with it. So it's kind of that's where sometimes the qualifiers make it a little odd, but that's why we love baseball, because you kind of add those qualifiers in and it shows the significance of what a player is doing. And Michael Garcia, I mean, every once in a while, I kind of wonder, like, okay, when is this going to fall off? And it's not like I'm trying to wish cast it, right? Like I'm not that crazy. But I was just kind of wondering when you see what we saw last season of one of the worst players in the sport, right? Qualified hitters, at least from an offensive perspective, to completely turn it in the other direction and go from slashing 231, 281, 332 to slashing 297, 360, 471. That's unbelievable. He's near a 5-win player this season. One of the top 10 most valuable players in the sport. It's pretty unbelievable. And for a guy like Bobby, right, he was coming up on near 7 WAR, which puts him right now. He's third behind Cal Raleigh and Aaron Judge, and this is what we would maybe consider a down year for Bobby Witt Jr. And Michael Garcia is 12th right now in the league in wins above replacement. I know some people don't love WAR. It's an approximation. It's a talking point. I don't think it is gospel, but it is certainly kind of intriguing. I really didn't have much from today. I know people had a ton of issues with the lineup construction and the defense and stuff. I'm just not getting into it. And not because I don't want to talk about it. To me, it was just like they were already going against Tarek Skubal. I don't think subbing in Kyle Isbell for Tyler Tolbert was going to help you impact and win the game. Not that and that's not trying to slight Kyle Isbell, but he's not good against lefties, and Tarek Skubal's awesome. It comes down to that. From a defense perspective, okay, I understand the conversation. But to me, it just doesn't move the needle from a talking point perspective at that point. I don't get into. I'm just not going to get into it because I think there's so much bitching and complaining that is just misplaced that I don't have time for it in a lot of situations. I do want to talk about the roster in the future, though. Of this next month, with bringing back up here, and one guy coming up to make his big league debut. We'll do that right after this break.
Looking for tickets for your next event? Tickets for Less is your #1 source. Save big on every purchase when you use promo code KCSN at ticketsforless.com.
Success in real estate takes more than vision. It takes the right financial partner. When someone takes something rundown and turns it into something great, that's called a comeback story, like Brain Group. They take distressed properties here in KC, completely rework them, and then turn them into valuable real estate. But that kind of work needs the right bank behind it. Enter Emprise Bank. They're not about cookie-cutter loans. They saw Brain Group's vision, backed them, and now they're making big moves in Kansas City real estate. Talk about your partner impossible. Emprise doesn't do one-size-fits-all financing. They invest in potential and back growth. Visit emprisebank.com/KC to learn more. Emprise Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
What's good, everybody? It is Benny Heiss, KCSN betting analyst, and I just want to let you all know that it's okay. You can take a slow, deep breath. Inhale and breathe out with one word: football. You feeling it? Yeah? Did you take that in? That sweet, sweet scent of grass and pigskin in? I'm ready. I hope you're ready too, because we're going to have an absolutely awesome season once again together. And especially for all of you in the state of Missouri, get your popcorn, get your phones ready, because the wait is almost over. You can taste it. It's coming, people. DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app, is coming. You say, show me. I say state. Later this football season, everything that you love about playing on DraftKings Sportsbook, sides, totals, spreads, props, same-game parlays, you name it, DraftKings Sportsbook is going to elevate your already great game day experience here with KCSN. And even if you don't get in by kickoff, no sweat, besides the promos on DraftKings that they offer as well, there's live in-game betting, payouts, faster than Xavier Worthy hauling down a bomb from 15 on the sidelines, all right from the comfort of your phone, wherever, whenever. You'll be betting with a top-rated sportsbook that is safe, secure, and trusted by millions of Americans across the country. Now, here's what you do. Follow your guy. You download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Be sure to use code KCSN as you get ready for sports betting to launch here in the state of Missouri. You're going to be the first in line for exclusive promos, can't miss offers, much, much more. It's It's code KCSN. That is KCSN in partnership with DraftKings Sportsbook. If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus, physically present in Missouri. Eligibility restrictions apply. Terms at DraftKings.com/sportsbook. Subject to regulatory licensing requirements.
Sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Those that are hanging out in the chat, I do appreciate it. If you're watching this later, please still do the same. It helps grow this channel, helps get more people to see this on their feed. The more people that like it, the more people that subscribe. So I do appreciate it. So one of the things that happens at the end of the season last month, the rosters expand. I know it used to be you go from 25 to 40 and your whole 40-man roster comes up. It is not that way anymore. The last couple of years, it just goes up to 28. So I think the way that works, you get 2 position players and a pitcher to come up. And so you have, at that point, you have 14, it's 14 and 14 for your rotation, bullpen, and bench. I apologize for the droning out there for a second. The Royals have announced those moves. We have not seen any corresponding moves yet, if there are any that are needed, because there are 3 guys that are coming up. Oh, sorry about that. Carter Jensen is getting selected to the Major League roster, which is awesome. And that has not been confirmed yet, but it is couched as we anticipate the following roster moves tomorrow. Jack Caglione reinstated from the injured list, so he's going to be back. And then Luinder Avila has been recalled. He reached that 2-week plus mark to be able to come back. So at that point, now it gets really interesting. Yeah, like, and this is not like speculation. Like the Royals is out, and Carter has mentioned. So like it's going to happen. It just nothing has been like confirmed on the transaction report. Nothing has been like set in stone yet because we don't have the moves that are going to come after. Because I do think they're going to. Oh, it's not from 25 to 28. It's 26 to 28. So technically, it's you get 1 pitcher and 1 position player. Chris clarified that in the chat. That makes sense. Yeah, I misspoke when I said that. I knew that it was 1 and 1. So the Royals are now adding a position player and Jensen and Luinder coming up. So now we kind of speculate on who that move could be. I think there's a couple different avenues. I think they're going to keep Luke Maile as a third catcher. It may be more of like an emergency catcher situation, because if you're bringing Carter Jensen up, you're not bringing him up to ride the pine. Probably going to DH against righties. He's probably going to play. They're probably going to play him a bunch, I would imagine, against right-handed pitching. Because why would you call him up otherwise? And it also helps get Salvi off his feet. Jack Johnson from the Locked On Royals pod had a great stat on Salvi since the Fermin trades. This is about a month. Salvi slashing $186, 239, 382 since the Freddie deal, because he's been catching a bunch. Because they're trying to not play Maile more than twice a week, if they can help it. Because Maile's fine, but you don't want to have him in the lineup every day. Like he is not the same type of bat that Freddie was. Like Freddie, even though he didn't have a lot of power, like was still like, you could have him in the lineup 3 or 4 days a week and be okay. I don't think Luke Maile is that guy. But just as insurance for Carter, I think keeping a third catcher makes some sense. Tolbert, Lofton, or India. See, the only way that I think there's any move on Jonathan India is that if it's an injured list thing. Like, right, I don't think, like, they're not going to DFA Jonathan India. They're not going to, get rid of him. I think he has options, but that's not the point, right? Like, he's got 3 options, but I don't think they're going to option Jonathan India. Like, he's got enough time in that I just don't think that makes sense. And I think since they moved him down the order, like, he's still been fine. I think Lofton Tolbert is the interesting conversation, and then it's just a matter of what you value. Nick Lofton has been almost a 0 offensively. And to be fair, Tyler Tolbert has 2. But to be also fair, Tyler Tolbert helped you win the game the other night. But like Nick Lofton has a 70 weighted runs created plus this year. He's in a $199. There's just not a lot to me, or it's actually a 69 after today, where he went over 3 with a punch out and a walk. Tyler Tolbert. Tyler Tolbert's actually been okay. Like I look at his at bats and like he actually hits the ball decently hard. He's got a 75. He's actually been better than Nick Lofton in a much smaller sample because it's only 46 plate appearances because he's mostly just there to run. And they both have the same quality of they can play a bunch of different positions. You know, they can plug them in against lefties, you know, a couple times a week, and it makes sense. But I do think Tolbert's ability to steal bags is probably the like point in his favor that makes me think Lofton is going to be the one that goes down. And then at that point, you have Kaggs, you have Jensen, Tolbert's going to come off the bench. You'll still have Grichuk, who's going to be off the bench for the most part. And then it's a matter of what you do with Adam Frazier and how you handle, you know, the lineup in that way. With Kaggs and Jensen in the fold, lineup gets a hell of a lot more interesting, right? I mean, there's some serious left-handed power in this lineup now. With Vinny becoming the power threat that he has become, with Jack Caglione obviously having an insane amount of left-handed power, and I think my son just opened my door, and Carter Jensen having some crazy left-handed power too. I mean, he's a significant, you know, it changes quite a bit. Hey, buddy, what's up?
Dad,
What's up?
I just wanted to give you a hug because I'm going to sleep.
Okay, buddy. I love you very much. I'll see you in the morning, okay?
You too.
All right, buddy. Good night.
A little coffee today.
All right. Good night, buddy.
Hi, Dad.
All right. Thank you guys for letting me have that little moment there. Let me see if I can get back on track here and remember where I was. Jensen has some of the most underrated raw power in the minor leagues and major league, and now it's going to be added into Major League Baseball. He is excited about Kaggs' return now. I don't know if he knows who Kaggs is, but I think I've showed him a couple of home runs. I'm excited to see what both of those guys do. It's going to be really interesting because they both were tearing up AAA. And it gets to a point where I don't think them being there for a couple more weeks is going to change anything. Like Jensen very quickly from his promotion from AA to AAA, it's very clear, like, okay, like this guy is just going to rake, and going into like, there's only so much for them to learn in AAA because their power plays so much that as long as they're not striking out a ton, that they're going to be fine. Or they're like, the only way for them to learn is to do it at the major league level. We've talked about the delta between minor league pitching and major league pitching. They're going to have to learn against major leagues because it's an awesome confidence booster to mash against AAA pitching. Not a lot of big leaguers in AAA right now in the International League or in PCL. So it's not necessarily sink or swim time. Like, it's not like this. Has barely, he got a cup of coffee, and then now Jensen's getting his chance. Obviously didn't go much different situation for this next month. And now it is not necessarily that I am saying the Royals need to rely on these young guys, right? It's not that. But when you think about the floor that's been created offensively with Yaz in the leadoff spot against righties, Bobby, Vinny, Salvi, Michael, that 1 through 5 is really good. You add in Jensen maybe hitting 6th, or if you want to go Kaggs 6, India 7, Jensen 8, Isbell 9. That's a really, really good lineup. Or if you want to have Jensen hit 6, take some pressure off Kaggs with India hitting in front of him, he maybe gets some more pitches to hit with the top of the order coming up right after him. So it can make things really interesting for this team. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that this is going to be the reason why the Royals are going to make the playoffs, right? Like, it's not that. There's still 3 back with a month left. A lot needs to happen. They need to get ripping hot. and they need one of the Mariners, the Red Sox, Yankees to just fall apart. Right there is only so much that they can do. They do not control their own destiny like they did this time last year when they were in these wild card spots. So we'll see. The other part of this is, even if you think, okay, the Royals have not been good against playoff teams, right? Against teams that are have winning records, teams that you're going to be competing with in your division or in your league. Like, that's totally fair. Like, the Royals are 30-42 against teams above 500, and you were 4-8 against the Tigers. The Yankees dispatched of you very easily. The Red Sox dispatched of you very easily. You kind of struggled when you played Seattle. So the other part of it may just be, hey, man, let's get these young dudes up here for this last month and make a run, like, be competitive, show these dudes a little bit of competitive baseball. Well, probably with the understanding of it's not going to happen for us this year, but these dudes are going to get a chance, and then we know that they're a part of our future, because next year could be really big, especially if this team figures out a way to make the playoffs, or just this team is going to have high expectations next season. The young dudes in there, the pitching staff is still going to be good. Bobby's in his prime or entering it. There's going to be some expectations on these dudes. You might as well give them a chance in this last month to deal with those expectations so they know what to expect coming into 2026. And we'll see what they have. I'm excited. We've seen young dudes come up for other teams, and it provides a spark. We thought that was going to be what Jack Caglione was going to become, and it was not that at all. It was, in fact, the opposite, because he came up and the team just nosedived into June. Not me saying that Caglione was the cause of it, just happened to coincide. So we'll see what they have. And we'll see if Caglione is able to prove. Because if he is, then the offensive profile of this team changes quite a bit. Off day tomorrow, so on your Labor Day while you're hanging around, no Royals to watch. Tuesday, open up against the Angels. TBD for the Angels. Michael Lorenzen is going to be on the mound on Tuesday. Wednesday is going to be Ryan Bergert. And then on Thursday, it's Seth Lugo is still slated to start. I will be surprised if Seth Lugo does start, because I think they need to give him a day. This might be where Luinder Avila gets his opportunities in like a spot start role, maybe like a bullpen adjacent type day where you go like Avila for a couple, Bolin for a couple, and kind of like piggyback it. It could be that sort of scenario. But we'll see. This is an Angels team you can take advantage of, right? They're 64-72. They're not great. I don't even know who they're going to pitch. Their pitching has been rough for most of the season. We'll see. This is a chance to capitalize before Minnesota comes to town. And I don't think they're going to miss Joe Ryan, because I think he's pitching in one of these games. So you gotta win, at least 2 here. Hopefully you win 2 in that series, and just keep with it and find a way and see what Jensen has. I'm excited for that lineup on Tuesday. See how they construct it. If they get both of those guys in the lineup, along with Yaz and Bobby and Michael, assuming it's a righty, that could be really fun. And if nothing else, this last month is going to be fun. Just to see maybe what 2026 is going to bring, even if it doesn't mean anything for the 2025 team. I'm excited. We'll see what they got. Toast game to Bobby Witt Jr. for his home run on Saturday. Obviously, and also sneaky toast game to Tyler Tolbert, because he came in and pinch hit against the lefty, and it is not easy to pinch hit in that spot and come up and take a walk in that situation. That's not easy to come off the bench cold and take a walk in that spot with that guy hitting behind you. That's significant. So shout out to Tyler Tolbert and Bobby Witt Jr. for that 8th inning. And that's going to do it for the show tonight. I wanted to get out of here in 30. It looks like that we're going to accomplish that. So like, rate, subscribe, review on all platforms. Thank you guys so much. Talk to you later this week after the first couple of games of this series. Have a good one.